Good day, everyone across North America. This is John Garmendi with Sony's Professional Solutions of America, welcoming you back to our series of ongoing Tech Tuesday AV Solutions webinars. These webinars were started in response to the COVID crisis so that our customers, resellers, integrators, and consultants can stay informed and up to date on Sony's latest products and solutions. Today's webinar will focus on new ways to engage remotely. In this webinar, we will highlight a hybrid solution that brings together a number of Sony's professional products that allow for a hands-free meeting and presentation application. A few items of housekeeping before we begin. As in previous webinars, there'll be an opportunity for Q&A, so please submit your questions via the GoToMeeting question panel. I will post links to information referred to during the webinar in the chat panel, and I will also post a link to our YouTube playlist where you can view all of our archived Tech Tuesday webinars. Joining me today will be Kiana Pampa, Sales Support Engineer for the Western Zone, Drew Buttress, Senior Product Manager for our network cameras, Edge Analytics, and LCD business projectors, and Chris Swartz, Product Manager for our beamforming microphone and CLED Direct View LED products. I'll turn it over to Kiana now and join you all back here later for Q&A.
Kiana Pampa here, reporting to you live from my home broadcast studio. The global impact of COVID-19 has transformed the higher education landscape. The need for safe hybrid environments are increasing. Sony's hands-free hybrid solutions help higher education institutions build touchless hybrid classrooms to connect students in and outside of campus. Our unique technologies provide high-quality audio and visual without difficult operation and keep both instructors and students engaged. With the combined use of video, audio, and display technology, our team can help make recommendations to fit small to large classroom environments. Now let's talk about the key technology components that bring these hybrid classrooms to life. Starting with display technology. We have a full lineup of professional displays ranging from 43 inches all the way to 85 inches. In June, we'll be releasing a 100-inch model, and then soon after in August, we are adding the 32-inch model as well. All of our displays come with a 3-year advanced replacement warranty. Yes, even the 100-inch display. Notable features like Pro Mode tool, where you can lock down settings so that students in the classroom cannot make any setting adjustments to the display. Convenient IP control is also available for remote support within the classroom. Built-in Google Cast and Apple AirPlay, combined with our system-on-chip technology, boost the performance when casting wirelessly to these devices. Now, if you're looking for a screen larger than 100 inches, we have a wide range of laser projector options. Our projectors start at 4,200 lumens all the way up to 13,000 lumens. Just like our professional displays, you can expect excellent and accurate picture quality along with a 5-year advanced replacement warranty. Equipped with intelligent settings that offer installation-based presets that heighten the projector's performance to suit different usage environments like the classroom, a museum, a meeting room space, for example. This unique feature simplifies installation and achieves efficient long-term operation in any of these settings. Now, I would be remiss if I did not mention our newest, brightest, lightest super laser, the VPL PHD 50 at 5,000 lumens or the VPL PHD 60 at 6,000 lumens, is overall around 20% lighter and smaller when compared to the VPL PHD 12. It now supports 4K 30p connectivity that fits most small to medium classroom environments. When it comes to audio technology, I am using the MSA 100 beamforming ceiling microphone. It is equipped with advanced speech reinforcement and clear recording technologies that enable true hands-free lecture or presentation. This mic is super easy to install thanks to the help of Dante and PoE. You just need a single RJ45 cable to power and transmit audio. Despite its small form factor, the added software features pack a big punch, like the ambient noise filter that automatically detects and filters out intermittent and distracting sounds, such as typing on a keyboard, clicking of a mouse, or even turning of pages. At the end of this month, we will be releasing a firmware update that also includes this added bass boost feature, which enhances audio quality for clear and easy listening on the far end. The next hardware component is our network cameras. Again, these devices are managed over IP, so it's easier than ever to provide remote support and abide by social distancing guidelines. We even added fixed cameras to our lineup with a wide viewing angle for instances where pen and tilt are not needed. These cameras pair perfectly with the RAC 1000. The built-in artificial intelligence improves quality of communication by empowering presenters just like me to deliver content that engages their audience. We can perform 5 different software licenses, but I will focus on those that are more applicable to the classroom environment. Let's start with our chroma keyless technology, which I'm using here right now today to help me with this presentation. So as you can see in this area, I'm using a couple of different feature sets, just like Teams and Zoom uses virtual backgrounds. In this case, it's very similar, but I don't need any special green screen behind me. If you look at this side, this is simply my HDMI input from my PC to showcase my PowerPoint presentation. On this background area, it's a custom PNG image of a live set. You can upload your own custom PNG images here. Additionally, we also have the ability to layer foreground objects. So if you see down below, you'll see there's a live image. This can be your company logo. It could be text, anything in your lower thirds. And the cool thing here is that you can drag and drop any of the portions or make your HDMI feed completely full screen. So let's show you a couple of ways that you can turn your boring home office into this. Is it me or did you just get cold in here? Does anyone want to build a snowman or make a snow angel? Or we can even convert it into this. Howdy, y'all. Anyone up for a road trip? You can basically transport yourself anywhere without the need for a green screen display. So if you're tired of this, how about we switch to this? So in your next budget meeting or presentation, you can elevate it by using video and chroma key technology simultaneously. I hope you enjoyed playing around with virtual backgrounds as much as I did. And I'm sure all of you are curious, well, how does your background really look in real life? If you tell me that we're not using a green screen, what does it look like? I'll give you a look at that now. And we're back here in my home office. As you can see, no special setup needed. All that is really required is a 4K camera and that Edge Analytics appliance. Now let's go back to the presentation. With the help of close-up by gesture on the RAC 1000, when an audience member stands up, it will trigger the camera to electronically auto-zoom into that person, which is particularly useful in education environments that measure students' reaction or even during a Q&A session. Because of my space, I don't really have the ability to showcase this considering I'm only one person, so I'll show you a live video to demonstrate it. As you can see here, the camera automatically zooms in and showcases both the full view of the audience and HDMI 2 shows a crop view. As you can see, it does a very good job of when they physically stand up, it zooms into that person that is in the shot first, even in cases where there's 2 people that stand up at the same time. The next software license that I will be discussing is handwriting extraction. So I'll go ahead and demo that here live from my home office. And we're back here in my home office view. The whiteboard is behind me, and we're going to go ahead and set up the software to run so that you can see this form of virtual reality. Essentially, what it does is it grabs all 4 corners of the board. That way, it'll analyze the writing and then overlay it in front of me in real time. So let's go ahead and click run on the software. And what the Edge Analytics appliance will do is it'll take that writing on the board and overlay in front of you in real time. So, for example, if I stand in front of the board, you'll see that there's this form of augmented reality where the writing is overlaid in front of you. So I'll go ahead and use the board to help me explain the scenario. It all starts with the use of a camera. It doesn't even have to be a PTZ camera, but it does have to have HDMI into the Edge Analytics appliance. So when you write on the board, it basically picks up that writing, changes the opacity to overlay it in front of you. From there, the Edge Analytics appliance is basically the brains of the operation and gives you that form of virtual reality. From there, we can transmit into video conferencing, just like we're doing here today, lecture capture, and even live streaming. And as you can see, it also supports different colors on the board. It supports whiteboard, blackboard, even interactive flat panels, as long as it follows the same color scheme. And as you can see from the raw video feed, it even fixes the geometry on the far end to make sure that it's a flat surface. And the last piece of the puzzle is the beamforming microphone that transmits audio to the far end. But of course, the REAC 1000 also has a 3.5 millimeter in for audio, and you can always transmit the audio from your camera as well. Super versatile, and again, we can help you build out these spaces. Now, if you have an instructor that might be camera shy, or you just want to take the raw video feed of only the whiteboard, we do have the ability to play with opacity. What I mean by that is that I can remove myself completely from the shot by increasing the opacity to 100%. So in this case, now the board is completely white, but as you can see, I'm still in the shot. But as if I stand in front of the whiteboard, I'm no longer visible. So if I start writing, you can still see it on the far end. And similarly, when I erase, you'll see it has this magic board erase effect. You can also take snapshots of this to send to your students after the session has ended. So now that you've seen the different capabilities here from my home office, I'm going to go back to my presentation so I can show you videos on how we can support more than one board. So we support 4 boards horizontally and 2 boards vertically. The first scenario is handwriting extraction variable mode. So this is part of our 4.0 firmware update that released this January. As you can see with variable mode, you're seeing the full 4 whiteboards here. And what it'll do is that every couple of seconds, it will alternate between full view and a cropped image. So as you can see, now you'll see exactly where the professor is standing in front of the board. The other view is cropped view all the time. How does that look like? Let me take you through the setup process. In crop view, you're going to specify how many boards you have. This is done via the web UI. In this scenario, we're going to use 3 boards horizontally. And the software is smart enough to basically output the image where the instructor or professor is actually standing. So as you can see, the Edge Analytics appliance does see this in completely full screen, but will only transmit the area where the professor is actually standing. Now let's talk about PTZ Auto Tracking, which is probably the most sought after software license. This is a list of supported cameras, and honestly, our PTZ Auto Tracking is highly accurate based on all these 4 different detection areas. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and show you PTZ Auto Tracking live here from my home office. We are back with the live view of the camera from my home office. PTZ Auto Tracking is basically already running. All I have to do is step into the home position that you create. We now have a tally light integration that allows the presenter to know when they're being tracked by illuminating red when the software is running. So I'm now free to walk around the room without any issues. And because of those 4 detection areas, I have the ability to face my back towards the camera, and it will still continuously track me again without any issue. I get asked a lot of questions on what happens when you integrate a face mask into the mix. So let's go ahead and test that. As you can see, as soon as my face mask is applied, I'm still continuously tracked as I move about the room. Again, it doesn't matter if I face to the side, face towards the back. Those 4 detection areas make this very robust and accurate. Additionally, this is a perfect demo to showcase the audio quality with the face mask on. A couple of limitations on this PTZ auto tracking capability. We do request that at minimum 17 feet of distance, and then at maximum 96 feet of distance. With the face mask portion of it, I do want to be completely transparent, and that our algorithm starts with knowing that you have a face. So if you're going to be using a face mask for this installation, I would recommend starting at your home position with your face mask slightly below your chin so that the Edge Analytics appliance can recognize that you have a face. Once it captures your face, you're free to put it back on. And then as you move about the room, it'll grab all of the other detection areas to continuously track you. This is a one-to-one relationship, so it can only track one person at a time. So even if you were in a classroom and you have students sitting down and there's heads in your shot, it does not matter because you were the first person physically in that space. And on top of that, in the software, you can also key them out. If someone were to cross my path, for example, it will still continuously track me because I was the first person in that home detection area. So now that you know how PTZ auto tracking works, let's go back to the presentation so I can show you a couple of key software technologies that go hand in hand with PTZ auto tracking. Now that you've seen PTZ auto tracking live from my home office, let's discuss the dual mode capability. With this new firmware update, you can now run handwriting extraction and PTZ auto tracking simultaneously. And the benefit here is that you can reduce overall cost of ownership by running these 2 software licenses simultaneously from one appliance box. So how does that look like? In this video, it will depict the different uses where you're using 2 different cameras to run this in dual mode. As you can see, you select both PTZ auto tracking and handwriting extraction, then click on run. From there, you'll see that both HDMI 1 and 2 are active. One video stream is showcasing the full blackboard, and the other video stream is doing the PTZ auto tracking. Now, we did discuss that there are various ways to output these video streams. We can use video outputs from the RAC1000 in various ways, like the HDMI feed can be sent to lecture capture devices for in-room displays. Over the network, we can use RTMP output for live streaming directly to YouTube or Facebook Live. And then additionally, using that HDMI to USB capture card, we can also connect to video conferencing platforms like we're doing here today. Now, although I did discuss various classroom applications, you can still combine the display, video, and audio technologies to outfit meeting room or office spaces. In this example, you can see that we are using the sRG XP1 and the USB out to connect to video conferencing applications, a Pro Bravia display to view the far end, and the MASA100 to capture audio. In a small classroom, you can use a sRG 120DU, a Pro Bravia display, or even a small compact laser projector option. The MSA 100 microphone has a 23-foot capture radius that can cover most small spaces that do not require a Dante DSP or mixer. In a medium-sized classroom, we still have a Pro Bravia or a laser projector option. But now we can upgrade to the sRG X400 camera with 40 times zoom for those installations that require the cameras to be installed all the way in the back of the classroom. When you add the optional NDI stream, you can install the new tech NDI virtual input software on your PC. This application allows you to make the sRG X400 available locally as a proxy webcam. This means that you can quickly and flexibly assign the sRG X400 from your network to supply video to applications like Teams, Zoom, GoToMeeting, and so many more. We've added 2 microphone options, which now require us to incorporate the use of a Dante DSP or mixer to combine these audio channels. In this system diagram example, we've added the REAC 1000 to provide the chroma keyless solution I am performing here now. As we move on to a larger size classroom, we have a very similar setup, but now we're using multiple microphones to capture the audio in the entire room. We would also be using a laser projector for better viewing experience for those students sitting in the back of the classroom. In this setting, you will also notice the addition of the REAC 1000 and the sRG XV25, so you can run handwriting extraction and PTZ auto tracking simultaneously. For students remotely or sitting in the back of the classroom, they can easily view their writing on the board with the help of handwriting extraction. PTZ auto tracking ensures that the instructor is always in view during the presentation, automatically with no camera operator needed. At this time, we'll move on to the Q&A portion of my presentation. Any of you have any questions, please feel free to send them in the chat. And back to you, John.
Thank you, Kiana. And we do have some questions. So the first one is from Anthony. He asks, does dual run mode work with any combination of licenses other than handwriting extraction and PTZ auto tracking?
Hi, John. So actually, we only support dual mode on handwriting extraction and PTZ auto tracking. No other combination is supported.
Thanks, Kiana. We have a question from Linda. Drew, this one's for you. What are the supported cameras for PTZ auto tracking, and does it work with other manufacturers' PTZ cameras?
Thanks, John. That's a great question. The supported cameras include the BRC X1000, BRC H800, BRC X400, the sRG X400, sRG X120, sRG 300H, sRG 360SHE, sRG 120DH, and if you use an SDI to HDMI video converter, we also support the sRG 300SE. To answer the second part, for auto tracking, we do not support other manufacturers' PTZ cameras.
Okay, great. We have a question from Vincent. Vincent asks, what were the minimum distances for auto tracking again, please?
So at minimum, you want to be at least 17 feet away from the camera, and at maximum 96 feet.
Okay. Thanks, Kiana. David asks, how many cameras can the Edge Analytics support at once?
We can actually support 2 cameras. So there's HDMI input 1 and HDMI input 2. But the key concept here is that when you use 2 cameras, it only supports PTZ auto tracking and handwriting extraction simultaneously.
Okay, another question from a different David asks about Sony offering bundles of cameras, audio display products. It's designed for each of the room configurations that you showed there. David, I would say no, we don't, but you can either work with your local systems integrators, or if you are one of our resellers or systems integrators, work together with one of our distribution channel partners. Vincent had a follow-up question, Drew. He said he was going through his notes and maybe missed. He's asking specifically about the SRG 300H. Is that capable of supporting auto tracking?
Yes, actually, that's one of the supported cameras. So basically, the requirement from a Sony PTZ is that it does have an HDMI output, which is what Edge takes in. And then you need to have VISCA over IP for control. So the 300H is supported for PTZ Auto Tracking on the Edge appliance.
Great. I have a question for Chris. Chris, Michael asks, does the Masa 100 have an echo cancellation feature? And does it work with Zoom and or MS Teams?
Yeah, thanks, John. The first part of that is, the answer to that is no. We don't have echo cancellation built into the microphone. So if you need echo cancellation, you need to bring it in through a UC application or a DSP. On the second question, the answer to that is yes, we do work inside of Teams and Zoom and several other UC platforms. And there are ways to bring that Dante stream into your computer directly.
Thanks, Chris. Another question maybe for Drew. Are any of your products certified for Zoom and or MS Teams?
So the long and the short is we have two USB cameras, the SRG 120DU and the SRG XP1. Both work with Zoom and Teams. We are in the middle of getting our certification by both Zoom and by Microsoft. So that certification announcement will be forthcoming, but at this point we're still in that process.
Okay, great. We have a request for a link for this recorded session. Leslie, we generally post it to our YouTube playlist by the end of the week. So I dropped in the chat a link to the previously recorded sessions, and generally by Friday, this week's session will appear at that same location. And I think that's it. Give one more minute for any last questions. Let me just look through them, make sure we didn't miss anything. No, okay. We've got actually one last question from Vincent. Okay, Vincent, I'll respond to that question offline. As I always say, we do capture everyone's contact information as well as all the questions. So we will address your question specifically offline in terms of a contact. And with that, we want to remind you of our next week's Tech Tuesday. It's going to be something a little special on March 16th, next Tuesday. Please join us for a roundtable session with our Vice President for Sony's B2B Solutions Division, Rich Ventura, something we're calling RV on AV. And you'll be able to get to hear from Rich and from a number of our Sony representatives across the B2B team. So we'll have representatives from our sales support engineer group, our sales group, and our marketing group. And we'll talk about some of the strategies that we've set for connecting with you, the community, and our commitments to focus to deliver to our customers and partners. So again, I want to thank everyone. I know it's an investment in your time that you spend with us every Tuesday, and I trust that you find it a time well spent. So we thank you for joining us, and wishing you all a very productive week, and everyone please stay safe and healthy. Thank you.